If you're tired of constantly zoning out during class, reading the same pages 3 times, and always studying with nothing to show for it, these 5 habits can fix your focus starting today. I learned these 5 habits the hard way in my freshman year because I went from chaotic all-nighters to having a productive system in my life that works for me, where I still have plenty of free time left over. By the end of this video, you'll have a simple system that you can implement by your next class. These systems will allow you to get more done in less time and also have a nice balanced college life. So let's hop right into it. The first habit that you guys need to implement is a 5-minute reset before you start studying. Before you even open a book, you should do a 5-minute reset to get your space ready to go. Get your notes organized, get your space cleaned up, and most importantly, silence notifications on your phone and put it in another room if you need to. This feels so small, but what it does in your brain is it tells your brain it's time to focus. We're getting out of casual, relaxing mode, and it's time to lock in and get some studying done. This 5-minute reset at the start saves you 15 minutes later on. You're not constantly trying to get comfortable in your seat, get your desk ready to go. It's already there for you. Everything can go better if you get everything right at the start and then let it flow from there. So cutting out the distractions of an unorganized desk and notifications on your phone can allow you to get into that zone. I used to procrastinate for hours when it came to sitting down and getting my work done because of how unorganized everything was. I had papers all over my desk, I had half-empty coffee cups, and I had tabs all over my computer. This basically kept my brain in a casual mode. It didn't allow my brain to actually look at what was going on in front of it and think that it's time to be productive. And that's a small thing that we don't really think about physically, but subconsciously that plays a huge role. Everything changed when I started doing this little reset. I closed out all the tabs that I didn't need, I refilled my water bottle, I cleaned up my desk, I got my notes out. All of those sorts of things allow you to sit down and get in the zone. Your brain is thinking it's motivated, it's time to get going, and it's time to sit down for at least an hour or two and knock out all the studying that you need to get done. It's not about perfection, it's just a quick reset. But it's a mini ritual that tells your brain we're getting started and there's no excuses not to. And that mental clarity and motivation kicks in way faster if you get everything done at the start. The next habit that you guys need to implement to up your college game is a 30-minute study sprint. What you need to do is set a 30-minute timer on your phone, go all in and study, get off all the things you can, and then take a 5-minute break. So why 30 minutes? 30 minutes is enough time to get something done, but still allow your brain to see that there's a finish line. Your brain doesn't mind starting to work because there's only 30 minutes that you have to do something. So in those 30 minutes, get as much done as you can, and then when it goes off, you have a couple minutes to relax and recuperate and go refill your water, whatever you have to do, before your brain hits a wall itself. So instead of trying to tell yourself that you're going to study for hours, you're going to go in these little spurts. These spurts allow you to get more done because your brain is not slowly leaking its focus and care and value and motivation, all of that sort of stuff away when you try to sit down and go after it for 3 hours. Instead of trying to study for hours, you're stacking short, high-energy bursts. This is way more effective than sitting in front of a textbook for 3 hours while your focus and your motivation slowly drip away. I used to waste away hours in the afternoons. I would sit down and highlight one sentence of my notes, write out a sentence of an essay. Besides that, I would just be scrolling on my phone and staring at the wall. So over a 3-hour time span, I only got about 40 minutes of work done. That's not very effective. When I switched to these focused sprints, everything changed. I hit hard 30-minute studying times. I went crazy in those times. And then when that 5-minute break arrived, I actually took it. I stepped outside, I stretched, I refilled my water, grabbed a snack, whatever you have to do to keep your brain energized and keep it focused. Ironically, I ended up getting my assignments and studying done a lot faster, and I got it done and felt done instead of feeling drained and unmotivated. Once your time and your space are under control, you can make every single class way easier by reviewing your notes each day after class. And this is why habit number 3 is to review your notes the same day after class. All you need to do is just spend 10 minutes after each class reviewing your notes, thinking about what was going on. That way this prevents those cram sessions later on before the exam. You're basically giving your brain a double reinforcement for free. One time in class when the professor is talking to you, you're taking your notes, you're scrambling everything down, and then when it's fresh on your mind, you can easily recall it, organize your notes, and if you do this right after class, it'll make it so easy to remember when it's time to legitimately study for the exam. This tiny little review session can save you hours before the test because you're not cramming new information right before the test that you need to take over all the information. I used to let my notes pile up the night before an exam, and then it felt like I was reading a foreign language of someone else's handwriting each night before I had the exam at 8 a.m. the next morning. Everything on the page might have looked familiar, but I didn't actually know what I was talking about. So if you do these little review sessions like I'm urging you guys to do, you really don't even have to study as much in the end because it's not new information. You're just doing a quick review of all the notes that you've already taught to yourself twice, and then going and taking the exam and passing it. This is one of the simplest hacks ever because you're turning your class time and the time right after it into a built-in study session that you don't have to put on your calendar later. You're already knocking it out right after class when you don't have anything else going on anyways. And speaking of panicking, knowing what's going on in your next day can help you prevent the feeling of being overwhelmed. That's why habit number 4 is this 1-3-1 rule that I've come up with to be able to have your day organized. This is a simple way that you can structure your day so that you're not drowning in busy work. Pick one big goal for the day. This can be studying for the exam, filming that video, or doing what the biggest thing you have to do is. Pick 3 medium things that you need to get done. These are the smaller things on your to-do list, but they're still the very important things. And then pick one small win simply for momentum. This cuts out the endless to-do list and pretending that you're productive because you knocked out 10 tiny little tasks that weren't even actually important for your big goal. This forces you to focus on what's going to actually move you forward in your journey instead of holding you back. And these things are small enough to actually finish. So if you knock out your big goal, you're going to feel accomplished for the day. If you knock out your 3 medium goals, you're going to kind of give yourself that cushion to keep yourself pushing forward. And that one small momentum goal can be as simple as picking out your outfit for the next morning so that everything moves smoothly. It's all about momentum and it's all about building yourself up with this hack. When I first tried this, I realized that half of my to-do list don't even matter. I was basically just procrastinating with the easy task, or procrastinating productively, as some people like to call it. There's nothing inherently wrong with procrastinating productively. It can get you a lot of random stuff done, but practically that's not good to do for long-term things. This little 1-3-1 rule made it clear what was essential and very, very important for my day. So by the end of the day, I would end up completing the whole entire 5-step to-do list instead of spinning my wheels and accomplishing nothing. And if you really want to take this rule and amplify it, start your day with something challenging. Habit number 5 that students need to implement is to start your day with a super hard task. Do the hardest thing first. It builds momentum and clears your mental bandwidth. When you knock out the hardest thing early, it clears the rest of your day. You're not walking around with the idea of what you have to do later that night when it's already knocked out in the morning. And since naturally as human beings we have the highest energy in the morning, you'll do it faster, better, and you'll feel good about it, which will move on through the rest of your day. I used to push my essays and my video recording sessions until midnight because I said I would feel better to do it then. Then I would end up half asleep and hating myself for doing that because I didn't want to be up at that time doing it. So when I started doing those things first thing in the morning, my whole day felt better. So when I started doing the hard things first thing in the morning, it flipped everything. I would sit down after my breakfast and have the hardest thing knocked out by lunch. This made the rest of the day legitimately feel free and not like some sort of thing going on in the back of my head that I hated for the whole entire day. When I had those feelings of, oh, well, tonight I have to write this essay, it just made the whole day feel boring and not exciting because I knew no matter how good of an actual day I had to sit down and write an essay that I didn't want to write later at night. It's like starting your day with a win that tells your brain that you're ahead instead of telling your brain that you're behind and have to do something super difficult later on. These are 5 small little changes that you can make to your daily routine, but when you stack them together, they can really change how you study and move throughout your college journey. You stop wasting time, you stop feeling behind, and school becomes a lot less stressful. So which habits did I miss, and which of these habits are you going to implement into your routine? I'd love to hear all these things down in the comments to help each other grow in this school journey. And if you want to go even further, I have another video about habits that tells you how to build those systems to make habit building easier. Habit building can allow you to start to build the systems that push you towards success. So if you want to be successful with habits and you want to learn how to build those habits, click on this video right here to learn how to do that.